because I heard you say, like, this shouldn't be in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was saying in my stream, I'm like, it's really weird that I'm fighting who I would think would be the boss of the game, like, in the beginning. Right. And you know, so who is the villain going to be? I start thinking in my head.
I know, and don't you just...
5 of them are in prison already.
Don't you love not knowing, though?
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to another incredible episode of the Emergent Gamer Podcast. I hope it's incredible because we haven't recorded it yet. But
I would say it's amazing.
Welcome. It's episode 180. We're here brought to you by the OG Podcast Network, so thank you guys for that. This is Trib Zero.
This is Neo Yoshi.
This is Felix Ergood.
And we're going to chat about a couple games tonight because there have been some high-profile releases in the week before, including Spider-Man and Destiny 2's first major DLC, Forsaken. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Doing great?
So I would say spectacular.
Spectacular. Felix, how are you?
I ended up taking 2 days off for like family related events. I had like my cousin's baby shower to go to, and then I had my sister just got engaged.
Cool.
So,
congrats to Felix's sister.
Yeah, she had like an engagement party and everything like that, but my job like gave me off the day before the engagement party, and then the engagement party was Saturday. Baby shower was on Sunday, and then I had 2 other days, and they just gave. And Tuesday is Mrs. Felix's birthday, so then they just gave me off Monday. So I have 5 days off.
That's awesome.
And
so you're doing well, probably.
And what we're going to talk about later, but what came out? Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh, you are.
Because I'm literally like Spider-Man right now.
You and Neo are gonna.
I've been playing so much of it.
You guys missed both my. I was trying to throw in some Spider-Man-ness early in the episode.
What did you throw in?
I was like, you asked me how I was. I was like, spectacular.
Is that a Spider-Man thing?
Yeah, it's spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, I don't know.
It's one of the comic lines.
I don't know what that
And
is.
then early, I was like, amazing. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
The amazing Spider.
No, when you
I'm not the one to make these references to, man. You know this. You know this.
Did we say we were going to talk about Spider-Man immediately? Because
No, I was alluding to it.
because we're rolling into it. Because I was going to ask him a question about that.
We can pause.
Yeah.
If you want to hold your questions.
Let's pause.
Please hold your questions.
We're going to hit a couple things before we dive into Spider-Man. There have been some betas out.
There have been.
There's a Call of Duty one for their Battle Royale.
Yes.
And Battlefield 5 overall beta came out, right? Like no Battle Royale.
It ended yesterday.
No Battle Royale for that, though.
It just had a
the full-
multiplayer.
Just Conquest
Just
and
the
a Tides
multiplayer.
of War map.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't touched either of those. Not really my jam or my thing, but you guys have dived in a little bit, right? To those?
To Battlefield, yes.
Okay.
Same Battlefield.
Let me get Call of Duty out of the way quickly. It's very brief because I didn't play it. I watched Dr. Disrespect play it today.
Watch the doc.
And I was hoping Locke would be here so I could discuss this with him. Sorry, Locke. Miss you very much.
It's all right. We'll chat after the show.
Yeah, we will. So I watched him play it, and holy shit, that is the most polished battle royale I've ever seen.
Really?
It looks better. It's a PS. He was playing on PS4 because the betas for that is the one out right now.
Okay.
So it was the PS4 version, but it still looked, I want to say, at least 3.5 times better than PUBG.
That makes sense because all the major battle royales now are just early access.
Right.
You know, like officially that's their title, which is a cop-out.
PUBG still feels early access, and that's 1.0 now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no joke. What's up?
First person?
First person. Call of Duty style.
Entirely first person.
Entirely first person.
Can I ask you one really quick off-topic question?
Yeah.
I don't want to derail it too far, but how is the doc with a controller?
Actually pretty good.
Is he?
The first round I watched him play, he got to number 2.
Okay.
And he was just taking out people, and then he lost because he got the guy. Like, he had the guy dead to rights, and he like sprayed on him directly, his reticle right on him, and then the guy got up and like hit him a few times, and he was down, and then he fucking lost his shit in spectacular doc fashion.
Of course.
He lost his shit, and
talking
he was like
about desyncing,
spitting
talking
all
about
over the place.
aiming and aim assist.
And he was yelling at Treyarch. He was like, "You fix your hitboxes, you sons of bitches."
He always goes right
Yeah.
to like the mechanics of the game as to reasons why he failed, not
Hey man,
because he
he's
may
a
have
perfect
missed or
player. If
something.
anything goes wrong, it's not his fault. You know what I mean?
No, it's not
But
his fault.
it looks great. It's
Sounds a lot like me.
Sounds
they're
a lot
all-
like you. You're also a perfect player, Felix.
so.
Never make any mistakes ever.
So the funny thing between Battlefield and Call of Duty's battle royales are Call of Duty. The map looks great. It looks fantastic. You have a wingsuit on at all times, so you can just jump off high places and flying squirrel your way to anywhere that you can.
So what does Black Ops take place in the future?
It's who fucking knows. I don't care. who cares at this point? It's
the last time I played a Black Ops game, it was in the 60s.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay.
The
That's
way you
the
said
last
that,
one I played.
It sounded like you were in the 60s. Like it was the 1960s.
It was the 1960s.
Last time I played.
4 years ago,
And I was
1960.
actually on a Black Ops mission.
Yeah, he was playing with Tim the Tap Man too. Which
No
is
one knows
pretty
how
funny.
long Felix has been around. It's actually
Yeah,
a fact.
no
You
one
can't
knows.
prove it.
So the
ancient.
funny thing about these battle royale situations is apparently Battlefields is going to be 64 players max, which is
That's a lot of fucking people.
you say that, but PUBG is 100 people.
Yeah, but like in a game that's supposed to be a fully playable finished product. With
But here's the thing: Call of Duty's is 100 people.
but
Oh, is it
Battlefield-
really?
Yeah, in a game that usually caps out at 16 player maps, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
usually cap out like pretty small.
That's what I'm saying. For these kind of experiences, it's a lot of people.
Battlefield has always been 64.
Exactly right.
Battlefield 1
and so,
is 64.
So
right
I find
now.
it weird that they're not scaling their game up to match the massiveness of the other battle royales, which is honestly what makes these games interesting and fun. The massive amounts of players on a map where only one walks away. 64 is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
I
and
think
if you
it's
have
interesting.
the right size map, it won't seem like a difference
Yeah.
at all.
The one in Battlefield, the one in Call of Duty seems pretty large, pretty damn large, and apparently it's taking a bunch of their famous maps and kind of like spreading them across the areas to kind of give people a playground.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
If you are a fan of that series, you'll
You'll walk into
recognize some
Nuketown
spots.
and like
Yeah.
you'll go, oh, I remember Nuketown, yeah.
Yeah.
It has a good looting menu, good looting system. Like it was all on controller. I would imagine. I'm sorry, COD is 80 players. So that is a correction I'm going to make right here on my own accord.
Make it and send it.
Correct away, I would have believed you.
Yeah, I know you would have, and I would have rather get torn apart on Twitter. That would be more fun.
Modern Warfare 3 Story was the last Call of Duty game I ever played. I never played multiplayer.
I played
Call
Ghosts.
of Duty at
I
all.
played Ghosts.
I've never touched either of those games.
They're
ever,
great feeling
in any form
shooters.
or capacity.
They're highly played because of like their high, speed of the combat is really fast, and then they respawn you like instantly. So it's all like you're constantly in the action, you're constantly turning corridors, and they favor frame rate even on consoles over graphics. I would say that's like the appeal.
The performance of it is going to be
is most important.
Yeah.
As for so that was the blackout mode.
That was Call of Duty.
It looks fantastic. And honestly, it had me for a second going, am I getting Call of Duty this year?
Yeah.
Like for the first time ever,
Wow.
like getting Call of Duty.
You play Battle Royale,
I do. But
So-
$60 for just that mode?
right?
It's a lot. It's
I
a
mean,
lot of money.
Maybe I play zombies a few times.
Didn't you
but-
play $60 for just that mode in PUBG?
No, it's $30.
Oh, $30.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is doable considering I've already put 300 hours in that game. So
yeah.
I think I'm set on that price per,
Yeah.
I've gotten out of it my money's worth.
Right.
But regardless of that, we also played Battlefield 5 beta.
Did you guys play together? Or
No,
just you're
no,
on
no,
No,
separate?
I mean, he's playing on PC.
I'm playing on PC.
I got it on the box.
Right.
What'd you
I
think
didn't
of it?
even plan on it. So I started a Ghost Recon Wildlands stream
Yeah.
on the day after it came out or whatever. And I'm playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and somebody who I trust, who comes in my stream all the time, was like, "Yo, dude, why are you playing this? Why didn't you download the Battlefield 5?"
Someone that I
beta?"
trust. I just like how you said that. I'm sorry.
Meaning somebody who comes in the stream I don't remember who it was, but somebody comes in the stream all the time who, one of the constant viewers was
Right.
basically like, "Yo, this is available." I think it was this guy, Malevolent Docs.
Yeah.
Yep.
It might not. Don't quote me on that. It might not have been him. But he came in and he's like, "Why aren't you playing this? It's like out right now." And I went, "Yeah, that's a good point." So right there on the stream, I started the download. You had to go to a separate place in the store to get it.
Right.
Just because I pre-ordered Battlefield 5, which I did pre-order, doesn't mean I automatically had the beta just like waiting in my machine.
Yeah,
but
you
it was
had to
only
get
it
it
was
back on
only
your
an
system.
11 gigabyte download because that hinge. I'm very close to the max on my 500 gigabyte hard drive.
Got to start deleting some shit, man.
No, I mean, I'm in that constant shift all the time. Like, I shift games out all the time. Like, I'll say, like, recently, in order to add Wolfenstein, I deleted Grand Theft Auto 5 and all.
Wow.
Well,
How big is that?
It's,
Like 80
it's
gigs?
fine. I'll just, like, I got a gigabit internet speed in
yeah.
here, so it's like
I'm like, wait a minute. So you streamed and you downloaded a game to your?
Yeah, it's
It's
kind of a
fine.
foreign thought, but
I don't think I'd be able to do that. Even with a 100 meg connection that I have, I can't.
I
do
pay
that.
for gigabit, but you don't ever really get gigabit.
Oh,
I
just so
still
you
wouldn't
know,
do
the
it.
amount of thought you guys are putting into that, I didn't even tip the iceberg of that.
You
much
didn't even.
thought.
You didn't even.
I just
You were just
started
like,
doing
go.
it. I was live when I did it.
Right
You're
now.
just like, all right.
Gonna do the thing, download stuff, download. That's fine. That's fine. How you guys doing? We'll wait for this to download.
I don't even think I had a frame drop. Like, I didn't notice if I did, but like, it was amazing.
Brag
Very
about it.
nice, right?
So I
Listeners
downloaded.
in the Midwest are hating on you right
Yeah.
now.
It was
Fuck Felix.
It was 11 gigs, and the notification came up at one point, and then the latter part of the stream, I dug into it, and I immediately kind of fell in love with a couple of changes that they made. One, you can pick up ammo all over the map, so now you can pick up ammo when you're just down and about.
I noticed your
Okay.
starting clips are real
Yeah.
damn low.
Yeah,
You get like one extra clip.
right. So I thought that was really cool. The gun that they gave you as a sample for the support class was a piece of shit,
Piece of shit.
and I fucking hate it. You
I'm
hated
like,
that too?
yeah. I'm like, where's my Garand, man? My M1.
For the support class?
They always in 1942 they got the M1 Garand. Garand.
Go around.
Yeah.
That was a support gun?
Yeah, it's not a sniper gun. Snipers get full.
No,
on
I know
bolt
it's not
actions.
a. I know it's not a sniper gun.
Assault
but
got the automatic like machine guns.
Well, I was looking. Oh,
Support gets the
wait.
the,
What
the
game are you coming
semi-automatic.
off playing prior to this?
Well, I've been playing Battlefield 1, but 1942
Had the Garand.
had the Garand in the support class.
I didn't know that.
They got, but in this they get submachine guns, which are straight
I'm
trash.
used to support from Battlefield 1 because Battlefield 1 was the first Battlefield game I ever played.
Oh, I
and owned.
always support, man. That's how you level. That's how you get them levels, man. You,
well,
you build
because I
people.
like supplying
Yeah.
people. The other half
Yeah.
of the support class is giving people supplies, and I like that. And
That's
my
also-
favorite of
also
all
very
time,
good.
though, in lieu of that, is actually the medic class. Like, I ended up loving the
Oh,
medic class.
shit.
And I love the fact.
Wait, we were both saying support, but what I meant
What are you saying? Yeah.
was medic.
Okay, medic.
Medic
yes.
is my
so that
medic
makes more
is my go.
sense.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So okay, so
'Cause when I
support
think
is
support-
supplying ammo. Medic is supplying like health.
Wait, can I just I in my brain
I know.
I was like support is your medic. 'Cause
When you're a
that's-
medic, you're supporting people. I get it.
Exactly.
I
so
get it.
so my brain kind of switched that, but you're right. Support are the ones that do the
so
ammo.
I'm used to in Battlefield 1 playing support, and here is how you play support. You play support by unloading your clip, right?
Yeah.
And you don't expect the gun to be very accurate at first, but if you hold down the trigger and keep firing every round in your capacity, it will get more accurate. The gun that they
The
provided
gun gets more accurate as you hold your
as
trigger.
you
down.
hold it down, yeah.
That's like the antithesis.
A lot
most
of the
shooters.
guns in the support class in Battlefield 1 got more accurate the longer you held it down. So if you had a 200 round gun, it would get more and more accurate to the point where you were obliterating like droves of people.
That's insane.
So I'm used to that. So I go in and I start using the support gun. It had like 60 total rounds in it. And it was the most inaccurate gun ever. So I don't have any kind of like, I have no words to say about the support class. I don't know if it's going to be any good. But medic was amazing because they replaced, you used to have to take a syringe out
Yep.
by hitting the right, like the right D-pad or the left D-pad.
For me, it's number
Depending
4.
on how you set it, because you could have set it however you want. But you had to take that out and then stick somebody with it. Now, in order to heal somebody, you can just run up to their body and hold X. Or tap X. You could just tap X.
Oh, you don't have to point.
Provided you're not under fire. If you're under fire, then it won't work. It just doesn't work when you're under fire because you're under fire. If you're suppressed by rounds coming over your head, you got to wait for it to pop up. But it was neat. I found the interface, though, the UI was kind of confusing.
Oh, it's garbage.
You don't see in Battlefield 1 you could see like visible red crosses or something. Like I don't remember specific. Like when someone's dying, they call out to you. Then everything was this like
Yeah, and there's
banal shade of blue.
when you're down, you actually have a button that says like bleed out or
I
call
thought that
for
was
help.
really cool from
Yeah.
the perspective of being down. You do this
your
thing
guy
now
goes,
where
"Help me!"
where you're like you're reaching out, and I thought that was really cool to have that animation. But like, yeah, like I couldn't tell at some point like whether somebody was down or not, what I was looking at. But maybe I just have to get used to it. I'm not really sure.
There's I mean, coming hot off of Battlefield 1, which I've been playing the past like month or whatever, it feels like really weird. Maybe because I'm using all these like high level weapons in Battlefield 1, but like I tried the sniper class out. I was
bad.
Didn't feel good. The bullets feel.
I'm already bad anyway.
The bullets feel slower to me. I don't know if it's just like a weird thing, but like you can like, kind of see the bullets and the drop on it.
I saw that with this gun.
It feels like real slow.
But
like
I'm still just bad.
Oh, that's okay.
The bullet drop fucks me
there's
up.
always room to get better. Yeah, I mean, it's all the game's all about the bullet drop.
No, I like firing 100 bullets and watching my gun get more accurate as I fire.
So also the meta class, they're using submachine guns now. They're not using the semi-automatic rifles, which I like the Grand.
I'm sure that's going to be available.
I'm sure it's a beta. They have very limited selection of weapons, and the assault class gets its assault weapons and its support.
Did you try any vehicles?
No.
No.
Didn't get there. I usually, whenever I play those games, I usually spawn in a vehicle, then I'm like, get the fuck out.
Now,
Sometimes I'll stay in.
What did you do?
People.
Conquest the whole time?
Yeah.
I did Grand Operations.
Yeah, I didn't want to like spend a whole long time in it, so I just did a few conquest maps. The one where I was the Americans and they dropped me in by parachute onto the snowy field and we got murdered. We couldn't push our way in. We weren't doing great. And the other map I saw was what was that other map they had available? It wasn't snowy.
I don't know. I didn't do Conquest at all.
Oh, okay.
All I did was the one Grand Operations you could do.
Oh, and it was that was in that French town, right?
Grand Operations?
Yeah, were you like in a French city?
We were in Norway.
Yeah,
there was lots of snow. And I think snow is a really cool environment for playing. Yeah. And I love how like the snow dust shoots up when bullets are hitting near you and everything. Like I thought that was really cool. But there was a bunch of janky crap in that.
There was a lot of jank.
I mean, it was a beta. I'm fine
That's
with
what
it.
it's for.
Hey, they pushed the date back of the game, so
Did they really?
Yeah.
Last week. How late's it going now?
I definitely got out of the way of Red Dead, so that's good. So I think I want to say it's like November.
Is it in November?
It's in November sometime.
That's not good because that's going to be smack dab with Fallout 76 competing.
Huh. So which would you put your time into?
Fallout 76.
Okay.
Any day of the week.
That one to me, out of either of those games, looks more interesting. Just saying, Fallout.
Oh yeah.
Because it's something that I can't wrap my head around what Fallout 76 is going to be like.
It's a fucking experiment.
And I played every Battlefield from the
That'll be cool to see.
They've never ever made a Fallout game multiplayer, and they're not doing an MMO like what they're used to with Elder Scrolls, and that's ZeniMax anyway. That's not even the crew.
November 20th is the date on it.
Yeah, that's not even the crew for Fallout. That Fallout crew has had to bring in a third, like a not third party. No, I think an in-house Bethesda like company that had been developing some shit pit multiplayer game that failed.
Shit.
Yeah,
so
they acquired another studio.
Yeah, like a studio from Texas helped them on the whole thing, and they didn't even know what to do with the multiplayer in Fallout 76.
Yeah,
like,
someone other than Bethesda worked on the
how do we
multiplayer
adapt our game, because they called it like the Atlas model for developing a game. So the earlier Fallout games are developed in the Atlas style, which is essentially as the character moves, the world builds around him, right?
Oh, okay.
And when you're doing multiplayer, it doesn't work that way because you have everyone in the world. The world has to be built. It has to be there.
Right.
So they had to completely reprogram everything.
That's quite a thing to overcome.
That's an entirely different aspect of developing a game.
Yeah, so it's super interesting for me because it's a total experiment. It could be a pile of shit garbage.
Could be the best game I've ever played.
Could be the best game I ever played.
So before we leave the topic of Battlefield and move on to the next topic, did you guys see what was going on with the profanity filter in Battlefield 5?
No.
Did you read about this?
No.
So I'm gonna go real. We don't have to discuss or anything, but I just want to bring it up. So apparently there were a lot of weird phrases that were censored from. I talked to Locke about this a day or two ago.
Like in the chat of the game?
In the chat of the game, yeah. Like DLC, those words are censored.
What?
Nazi is censored, which is more understandable, but kind of weird for a World War II game.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, but I can understand in today's climate why you would probably.
What do you mean? What's censored?
Words in there. They have a text chat.
If you type DLC, what happens?
It turns into stars.
Oh, like it
Right.
fully censors the word.
So like you would say any other bad word that you don't want in your chat, which there are tons of that you don't want in your chats, which is like understandable. But things like DLC. But if you type free DLC, it's not censored.
You're saying in Twitch or in?
I'm saying in Battlefield's
Inside-
in-game chat.
inside the in-game chat on PC.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't understanding, guys.
And there's other ones like white man is censored as well, but you can say black man or Hispanic or anything else of that nature. So it's just and there's an article here that's saying it's still a work in progress, but I'm like, okay, but somebody actively had to have put those into the filter.
Right. And
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
they're not left over from a previous Battlefield game. This isn't like code
No,
that's
because
inherited
I
from
tested
something
it in
previous,
Battlefield 1
and it works fine.
and it works fine.
Can you type the word Nazi?
In Battlefield 1?
I'm
Bless
so
you.
sorry.
Bless you.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
Need a
pretty
mute
sure.
button.
I'm pretty
I mean,
sure.
it's the Imperial German Army. I don't really know why you would be typing Nazi.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in context. But
Only if you were an idiot,
You know.
and didn't know that
anyway,
there was a
that
difference.
was
Anyway.
an interesting thing that I
Yeah.
thought was interesting. That's a thing.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes in November.
So, talk to me about your most favorite character of all time.
It's by far Batman.
Batman.
Just kidding. It's Spider-Man.
It
Tricked
sucks
you.
that Batman didn't have a video game that got released this week.
No, he did not.
No.
But you know who did? Mr. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man did.
Yes, he did. He's got Felix has
Felix
got the
is
shirt
wearing
on.
the shirt.
Wearing the fucking shirt,
Literally.
The Todd McFarlane cover, which
Yeah.
I love.
which I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Yeah, yeah.
You said that to me, and I was. Just
I was like, hey, it's the
So-
Todd McFarlane cover.
I can align with liking Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
You better.
Uh,
At this table, you better.
when the Sam Raimi ones came out, the first one, I loved that movie so much from the age that I was at that I saw it. I didn't know anything about the comics, but he made it look so cool being Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
And that was in the age
Yeah, I
of
loved
movies when like CGI got pretty
You said
decent.
the 80s?
No, that age of movies.
Oh.
when did it come out?
No,
It came
when
out in
it
99
when
it came out in 2000.
2000.
when
I
it
thought.
did, like we went over this hump of like CGI technology and things looked very, very good, very realistic for that kind of movie where you're swinging between buildings and stuff like that. So it was very, very cool. And that's about as far as I went though in terms of my Spider-Man knowledge and lore. I liked the new one.
Let me
for
take you
sure.
back to that time. And when that movie was coming out, years prior, I was scouring my 56K internet for when is a Spider-Man movie being made. And at the time, it was rumored that like James Cameron was going to direct it. Who did the Terminator movies?
James Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron, yeah. It was rumored that he was going to do this.
Why is he always like a name people think is going to do
Because
any
he
movie
makes
ever?
any movie.
he makes shit blow up well.
Yeah, but
But
up
he was-
until that
but
point,
at
that wasn't
time,
really his
it was like,
wheelhouse.
currently, Mr. Cameron is working on Titanic, so
That's
we don't know if he's going to be in the production. That was like the
it was
talk.
in his wheelhouse to make shit that blows up in a big way.
But
He does drama well, too.
right,
Because
like
he had just done Titanic.
that's
that
why it
the
was
reason?
the joke on Entourage that he's going to do Aquaman. Remember that, like back in season 2.
Didn't even think about that.
No,
but
but
yeah,
the
that
joke-
sounds,
the
that
joke-
sounds like a good thing.
The joke wasn't that he was going to do an action movie. The joke was that he was going to make it so big that the budget would inflate and they wouldn't be able to make
Yeah,
it.
he was going to make the big blockbuster
That's the
Spider-Man.
joke.
That's what I was excited about.
Because Titanic had the big joke was it had a Titanic budget.
Right.
You know, like it was absurd what he did for that. He had he constructed a tank that had an actual almost replica of the Titanic. in it.
to film that. And to film
Yeah,
the
like
same
like
That's
right off
insane.
the coast of California was where it was. This
James
giant,
Cameron.
huge, whatever monstrosity.
all right, we're getting off topic.
We are
We
getting.
are.
We are.
All right.
I was literally just doing an anecdote to
Spider-Man.
my love for Spider-Man, but
it was good.
tangented it. It's okay. I fucking love Spider-Man. I played all the games except for Web of Shadows. I'm talking about the modern era games. And fuck that Game Boy shit. I did play a DOS version. of
I
Spider-Man.
played the fuck out of Spider-Man for the Game Boy Advance.
I didn't. I never
Dude,
touched it.
You swung through cities in some kind of weird Mode 7 graphics version. It was
sounds pretty fun, though,
It was pretty
actually.
cool. Handheld, that shit was wild.
Is it going to be bad when I tell you that this is my first Spider-Man game
No,
ever?
not at all. Hey, look, if you want to play the Beanox games, the Amazing 1 and 2 games, they're out there. They're doable. Those are the last ones I played. And,
What console were they on?
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is on PS4, I believe.
Oh.
I think they're both on PS4, actually. Yeah, I think you're fine. On that. They're good. And I was worried that these games were just going to feel like the new Insomniac game was going to feel like the Beanox games.
And it doesn't.
It does not. it takes a lot of the same elements of it, like how they give you a web zip point. You know how they Felix, whenever you're looking around the area, you see that circle reticle that follows the corners of any environment, and it lets you hit a button and you like zip up to it.
I'm guessing there are areas that you can't zip onto.
Certain ones, but it makes you know that it wants you to know that you can quick zip up here.
Yeah.
So which is a good way of getting out of danger. One thing that I did like that the Beanox games had was they had an escape button where you would hit it and then you would hit it and Spider-Man would just zip to the closest
automatically
point to be safe. And then it give you like breathing time, which this game does not do. It keeps you in the action, which I actually appreciate a lot more. So like where do you want to start? You want to start with the combat? Let's start with the open world.
Oh yeah. Impressions, how do you like it? What feels well, what does not feel good?
You can tell this game's got like this massive Sony budget behind it.
Okay.
Because the animations that have gone, like just him swinging through the city and just the way it feels and transitions with the look feel great. Yeah. I think the city looks vibrant and big. I know there's inconsistencies with New York because I heard you talking about
I said that initially in my first like 20 minutes of playing it. My original complaint was that I couldn't find like this specific building that I was looking for on a specific street. Right. I couldn't even find the street, right? But once I read further, I discovered that they were going for 1970s New York.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like a cross between the world of Spider-Man from the comics with 1970s New York.
I like
so
that.
that's the map they were really going
It's
for.
hard to do like one-to-one.
Recreation.
Even the Division wasn't one-to-one. They were skipped.
In the Division, I found an actual apartment building that I
remember you
in.
telling me that story.
I sent you the screenshot.
Yeah. But like if you were someone else, maybe they lived on the street behind your street, they wouldn't be able to
Not
find
necessarily,
their thing. And even the distances around these places are shrunk down to make getting there in a video game not feel like a real world fucking slog.
They're scaled appropriately
the
to whatever you're doing.
specific, after I played the game for many, many hours, the specific locations that are based on real world locations feel exactly to scale. And it's really awesome. Like Grand Central Station, the Chrysler Building. And then what's crazy is they took real buildings that there's this famous, I don't remember the name of the building, but it's right in Columbus Circle. Right, so whatever the name of that building was, Time something building.
The one behind the little globe.
The one, the big. It looks almost like a hotel where they have currently right now they have a Whole Foods in the basement of it. All right, so in Columbus Circle, there's this huge building. They turned that into Fisk Industries.
Yeah.
So like the Fisk building,
where I was going to bring it up.
Fisk lives.
If you pay attention to the city, you'll notice a whole bunch of stuff. Like I passed Rand Industries. I've passed the
best way to do it is the landmark tokens.
Okay, there you go.
Go through and get all the landmark tokens, and it takes you to all these locations.
There's smaller ones like Alias Industries is in there at one point.
Investigations.
And
that's Jessica Jones, in case anybody doesn't know.
And Stephen Strange's Sanctum is there. And
Fogwell's Gym for Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yep, I saw that one too. There's the Avengers Tower, which is a clear landmark in the game.
You get a trophy by going all the way to the top of it.
You sure do. I liked posing. I did a photo shoot around the building. Like
I did one.
Photo room.
It's amazing view from the top of that building. You're just like, whoa.
So let me ask a question. Not playing this game and not really playing any of the three-dimensional recent generation Spider-Man games. What kind of a game is this? What's your purpose as a player? What are your goals?
It's open world action adventure. Okay, for sure. The city's there to be your playground. For sure, and they give you all the tools to traverse it, like all these amazing tools. Right away, you can swing, you can zip it. Like one thing I showed Felix today, I don't know if you knew about this beforehand, but by quick zipping to a corner of a building,
I didn't know about that.
So you quick.
No, that helped me. It was so funny by teaching me that when I had to do the Taskmaster bomb things.
Yeah,
it made it easier.
Did it?
Yeah.
So what I was saying was you can quick zip to the corner of any building when it puts that reticle there for you. It puts a moving reticle. And then you hit X the moment you smash down on it. And he does a flip forward and leaps off of it, bounding himself forward even faster. Another thing you can do, I'm not sure about this one, when you're falling from a great height, if you hold in the left stick, he'll do a straight up nosedive.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you hit your trigger, which lets you just do a normal Spider-Man web to a building, he'll come out of that dip a lot faster. So you dive harder and then you
Yep.
come out faster.
Swing out with more momentum and speed.
It's how you increase speed.
Exactly.
It's
And
like
so
one of the-
and then if you release or you hit the jump button while you're halfway through your swing, he'll go out further. Or if you hold it, you'll go up higher. So you'll
like,
follow out your swing.
If they do physics well, you'll be able to understand the peaks and the valleys and hit your stride at that point.
Combining all these things together makes for like the movement throughout the city feels great. You can run, and then like if you end up wanting to get to the top of a building, if you smash into a building, he'll just instantly start running up it. And like the animations feel good. I told you run up a fire hydrant or run up a fire escape.
Yeah,
and then he does
he
like
starts doing
a
this
new
like web thing where he like latches himself to the fire escape above, and it just flows right into it.
Just flows right into it. Also, running along buildings is cool. Also, running through fire escapes, he'll do another mini animation through it.
It's very, very smooth, very fluid.
Oh, very, very fluid. Water towers on buildings, like certain ones, I've zipped through accidentally, and he does like a spin twirl through it, and like it's awesome. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It seems amazing. All right, I get that one.
Do you get it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it seems like a game where a lot of the fun comes from that flow. Like Mirror's Edge, for example, is one that comes to mind, where you're just really doing kind of parkour-y, flowy movements. And
you get
another
into
game
it.
like that. You get into that like rhythm and that flow as you fly through. So it's cool that they make it like feel like special and like you're flying through these tight areas and make it look really nice with the animations.
Absolutely. Another thing I would give it praise is the collectibles.
Right.
They drip feed them to you. So first thing you pretty much get, which is in the promo material, you get backpacks, and you find his backpacks, and these are important because you're 8 years into his career. This is not a newbie Spider-Man. This isn't teenage Spider-Man. You're a post-college Spider-Man. He's getting his first. He's in his first job.
Right.
Post the Bugle. He doesn't work at the Bugle anymore because he's not a student anymore.
Yeah, 5 of the classic villains when you start the game are in prison.
Already, yep.
Already.
And all these like backpacks you find
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is following comic timeline?
No, it's its own continuity.
Just exists in whatever rules it wants to.
What the
exist
backpacks
with.
do is they kind of give you a glimpse into his past because he tells you a brief story about whatever he left in the backpack at the time. So he'd be like, "Oh, this was the formula that the Vulture had, where I used it to stop his sonic blast or whatever." And like he'll explain, like, "Oh, this is the time I fought Electro and I designed my suit to be a little bit more resistant to electricity." And you'll see all these things.
Yeah, he's estranged from Mary Jane, from MJ. At the beginning of
she's
this.
very much a main character, though.
Yeah, she's a main character, but he's estranged from her. Like they're not together.
Yeah, they're split up.
It's sad.
Like
Sad
Aunt
about it.
May's in it, of course. The new character, which I want to say is Martin Lee, which is AKA Mr. Negative.
Yeah, but is he a character like in the comics?
He's
or did
a
they
more
make him up?
recently introduced character. He's
cool.
not from like the far flung past of Spider-Man's history. So that's all. I think he's a really interesting character, and I'm not going to give it away, but where they go with him, I think is even more interesting. And another thing I don't know if I want to bring this up because like
You
the
don't wanna
person,
spoil?
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
because
if
the
it's
person
spoiler related,
who Peter works for.
Yeah, we'll keep away from that.
I don't think.
Yeah, no, that was too much of a surprise. I wasn't going to bring that
It's
up.
a beautiful surprise too.
Yeah. But it's a restructuring of like
a
characters.
character.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing right now. I love what they did with him.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not going to
really
say.
good.
I'm not going to
Sure.
get it go from
Yeah.
there.
The
But
cutscenes are all like believable in terms of their drama.
oh my god,
Meaning it feels like I'm playing a TV show. That's why I haven't put it down.
Yeah, sometimes games can have campy scenes, but they're not. Like, they
no,
work really
this
well.
is it's wonderfully acted.
Yeah, real good
and
performances.
you feel like you want to you feel for the characters. Like I'm watching the Netflix series of Marvel. You know what I mean? Like you really,
Like, it
you're
makes
really
me
involved.
think that like a Spider-Man TV show will work.
Oh my god!
Like, if they just follow this
if the
template.
budget existed for something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, there's the drama is really cool. I don't know how to describe it without like getting too spoilery.
Right, yeah. You don't
But
know.
I mean, I think you've done a good job of illustrating that it's an engaging story.
But one thing I think we can talk about is the game starts out with you taking on Fisk.
Yeah.
That's been in promo materials.
It's your
Sure.
first boss fight
First
is
boss
taking
fight.
Fist down
And
in the beginning of the game.
What did you think about that, Felix? Because I saw it first, you're like this, because I heard you say like this shouldn't be in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was saying in my stream, I'm like, it's really weird that I'm fighting who I would think would be the boss
The end
of
game.
the game, like in the beginning, right? And so who is the villain going to be? I start thinking in my head.
I know, and don't you just
Five of them are in prison already.
Don't you love not knowing though?
Yeah,
It's
and
great.
I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea who they're going to introduce, and they,
I'm excited for
later on they start introducing characters that I was like, you forgot were Spider-Man characters. They were part of his world, and they just haven't been used. They've been completely underutilized for years.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in other words, it's easy to say they avoided all of what the movies have already covered.
Thank God.
So all the villains and all the characters that the movies have all covered are not going to be the villains.
That
in
is
this.
cool.
And it
'cause
doesn't even seem like an original comic story. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No,
it doesn't
just
seem like an original story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So can I ask you a question, Neo? Because I couldn't get a vibe from you when you were in my chat how you feel about this. How do you feel about my characterization of this game seeming like a template from the Arkham games?
I agree and disagree at the same time because a lot of it is pulled like straight from the playbook of Arkham games, but Arkham game has like a different like philosophy and like level design. I
didn't understand what you meant by that.
Like it, for example, in Arkham, like they love using they love scattering riddles throughout the world, and it's a lot tighter. So traversal doesn't feel quite as like grand as like Spider-Man does, but in Batman, it's like you have your zip line, you have your bat wings, right? Where you glide, but everything's like a lot closer together, and the city doesn't feel alive in the Arkham games because they're like, oh, there's a lockdown and all the villains are out.
Yeah. No, you're talking about like just how sparse it seems.
Yeah, and like the way you progress the story in that, it's like you, okay, now I'm gonna get this ability and that will let me use these things on these levels. Like I think Batman does it a lot better, honestly, with using your gadgets in combat as well as in the world, which lets you solve world puzzles.
Yeah. What did we say?
Just,
we said Metroidvania.
It's very much a
Batman,
Metroidvania style, which Spider-Man isn't.
No, it lacks that. It definitely lacks that.
And the
Spider-Man
gadgets,
doesn't have that.
there's only like one gadget that helps you with world stuff.
Right.
There's only one gadget.
And you wanted more of that?
I think it would have been nice. Like, for example, I think the weakest part of the game is the puzzles. Those stupid tablet puzzles that I'm like,
terrible.
I'm fucking playing as
But they're
Spider-Man,
optional.
and you're making me use this. I mean,
No,
yeah.
I love puzzles.
If you want the trophy,
describe this puzzle to me.
You ever play BioShock?
Yeah, all
Do
the
you
time.
remember the pipe puzzles where you got
not all the time, like every day, but
Yeah, but yeah, it's happened.
I love that
At
series.
one point, I played
want to
it
go
all the
back
time.
and replay it.
Sure, yeah, it's great games. But remember those pipe puzzles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Where
hacking.
and you had to flow the thing. So it's something similar to that where you got to put pieces in and solve for the flow. But every time I did that on
Connect the conduit or like finish the
Yeah.
circuit, something like that.
yeah, there's that, and then there's another one where it's like, these three lines are missing.
Match
you gotta,
lines.
You got to match the lines, and I'm like, I'm
So
playing Spider-Man, and I get that you want him to seem smart and a genius because he is, but why am I pulled out of the action of being Spider-Man and doing this?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's awful.
Take a test in your high
real
school
bad.
class.
But and like I was saying this
Write an essay.
to a friend earlier. I was like, look, if they wanted to show how smart Peter was, I would have done the Batman thing and have him be like, okay, I'm going to use my webs to solve this in the environment in the world as I'm going through a level. Like, and have him monologue it because he does that, and
Right.
he does it during the puzzles too, where he'll say some big science words and go, "Oh, look, I just connected the two variables and I've made a positronic neutron or some bullshit." Like he says that
Right.
shit.
I totally 100% agree that the puzzle part is not the same as the Arkham game.
They sound like those
Takes
screens
me
in
out of it.
bars that you go to. You go to the bar and you play a game.
Yeah, they're like
They're like those kind of
junk
games.
just
food
dumb
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is building a Spider-Verse independent of the movies, independent of
Best part. That's
Right.
So we're talking about like polar opposite things. That is by far the coolest part about it, and I was just that was the worst part about it.
As I swung around the game, and then like when I got into those landmark tokens and started to realize that Fogwell's gym is there, the Sanctorum's there, the Avengers Tower, I start thinking in my head as I'm doing this, as I thought when I played specifically Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight did this the most.
Oh, yeah.
Arkham Knight was like the full city. When you got to Arkham Knight, it was the full Gotham City. And when you would like cruise around the city, you'd see like LexCorp was here, as a represented business in that city. As I started to do that in Arkham Knight, I started realizing, whoa, this company could theoretically make a Superman game, like,
which is what everyone has been rumoring.
because they had their own like branding for LexCorp that didn't look like the LexCorp from the movies, and you start
that universe is too dark for
but
Superman.
all of this is done spatially. It's done based on location. And this game does the same thing. Like you're cruising around, you look and you see this Easter egg that's like, the Doctor Strange's Sanctorum, and you're like, whoa, the Sanctorum's here.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Avengers Tower's
Wakanda
here.
Embassy's here.
Wakanda Embassy's here. And you start thinking in your head as you're playing this, well, this is a world where you just told me that all 5 of the villains for Spider-Man are already in prison. Well, the boss of this might not necessarily in the end be a classic Spider-Man villain. It could be any of the villains from any of these heroes. Like, it really gave me this context of
Potentials there.
well, huge intertextuality. Like, you started realizing that like there's tons of like potential for this like series to be adapted to any character.
Oh, of course.
And that's what Arkham did, and that's what this has been doing
I
for
think
me.
it's just with like
in
characters-
addition to the combat being like
Right.
almost identical.
it's similar to Arkham style.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think it's just easiest for Spider-Man and Batman. They translate so well to a video game environment.
Yeah.
It's just like
Like you couldn't do
Peanut
this-
butter and jelly,
Like
you know what
how
I mean?
good was that Incredible Hulk game that took place in an open world
I
city?
heard it was good. Never played it,
Yeah, I never played it either.
but you went around smashing stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
that came out after the 2008 Ed Norton movie, which is canonical to the MCU. So I mean it's just weird to me that like this game is so good. Like that gives me the sensation that I never thought I would have playing a Spider-Man game.
Let's talk about the combat a little bit.
Yeah.
So I love the combat. I think it's fantastic.
It's addictive.
It is. For some reason, watching you on stream today, I was like, damn it,
Yeah,
stop
so
web zipping around and fight.
Neo was watching me all day. Not
I don't want a backseat game. I
Okay,
really
so-
don't.
well, you can in my stream. I have a fucking
Cryptic-
I have a
Cryptic yelled at
channel.
me
No,
in
I have
your
a channel called. Well, he doesn't know that I have a channel called The Backseat.
Right.
For talking.
No, he was like, yo, everyone plays their own way. Stop telling Felix what to do. I'm like, you're right, but I just want him to know.
No,
you're right.
you helped me with a lot of stuff. You
I
introduced me to that web. There's this web zip thing you can do, which is exactly the same as Batman shooting his.
And then following through.
So Batman
He
would
follows
shoot
through.
his like what's it called the web.
The grapple gun.
The grapple gun. Batman would shoot his grapple gun into a guy across the room and pull himself to that guy.
Yep.
Spider-Man has the exact same thing. It's webs, and he
Yep.
pulls himself instantly to the guy.
How much easier does that make fighting?
Didn't even know I could do it. And all of a sudden, he told me in the chat about it, and I went, "Oh shit, I could do this the whole time."
Yep.
Fucking stupid.
I could blow your mind with all the cool combat things you can do.
No, I mean I learned a lot of
Yeah.
them today just from your insights.
And the best part is once you get into the rhythm of doing all of these cool Spider-Man like moves, it looks like you're doing a dance of fucking awesome Spider-Man moves.
What he was complaining about was the fact that I was too obsessed and focused with staying in the air away from the enemies and not fighting them in legitimate hand to hand.
You're supposed to get down there and do some
supposed
cool
to punch,
little
punch,
like
punch
spider
combo.
Yeah,
karate.
you flip over
Pull 'em
them,
down.
go
Flip over,
between
do
their
all the
legs.
cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Cover them
Yeah.
with your web goo.
I was focused on
Oh,
just
yeah, I
taking.
love doing that.
I was taking
very
the-
important part of the fighting process.
Well, the game is more environmental, I think, in combat than the Arkham games.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can pull with his webs. He can pull like shit from anywhere. Bricks. Sandbags.
Enemies
like
throw
fucking
bombs.
Bags of concrete.
You can pull
bombs.
you can pull shelves down on people.
Yeah, later
Yeah.
on you can lock a perk where if they fire a rocket at you, you can take their rocket and throw it back.
That's
at
my
them.
favorite move to do.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So like it gets to the point where you fall back and rely heavily on this environment. And one thing that they did, which I thought was good and bad, I mean frustrating, but not bad. But later on, there's an enemy that actually, I think they figure if you get too reliant on this like hanging in the air, they have this enemy that can like pull out these like tentacles and pull you down.
Whiplashes you.
And I was at this part where I was falling back like a crutch on being in the air too much.
Yeah.
And this dude,
you got boned.
every time I went up, this guy pulled me down and I would die. And he was in the chat.
He wants you to face him head on, pretty much.
Neo was like, dude, you just have to fight him. You got to figure out what his weakness is.
We call those hidden guidelines the developer has put into the game.
Boom. Yeah, and every
No,
enemy has
this
something
way,
like that.
this
Every enemy is like a rock paper scissors maneuver. The guy with shields, you got to punch, dodge underneath them. And then the guy with the batons, you got to just hold down your punch button, do the uppercut.
Yeah,
like it's
if
all about
anything-
balancing. Okay, I know what I need to hit with these guys. Batman was the same way. They had enemies that did the same things.
They
almost.
were short in the game's defense, they were short on gadgets to improve like puzzles and unlock parts of the map and stuff like that. None of the gadgets helped you with that, which I think would be preferred for probably Trip Zero. You would probably enjoy that more if
gadgets were
gadgets you found unlocked parts of the map or helped you solve puzzles in the world.
I don't think that
wouldn't.
it wouldn't.
But I would say
difference to me one way or the other
the
if I had
gadgets
everything unlocked or not.
Yeah, I think the gadgets in this, they improve the combat.
Yeah.
They add more dimension to the combat the more gadgets come into it.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is I always quick shot. I never aim my gadgets.
Thank you for that.
By
tip.
the way, yeah. Just tap the R1 button. You're
I was
you're
like
good.
holding in like aim to try
Yeah,
and
you're
aim
doing
certain gadgets.
doing
so
bullshit
stupid.
Where you're
Yep,
like, where
just
am I
quick
going to go
fire.
with this?
Tap, use a trip mine. So boom, 2 enemies together, and then I'm already switching to my next gadget, which is like the web bomb.
Yeah,
and then that like spreads your goo across like 4 guys.
Shits the goo.
And
across
now
4 guys.
you're open to just go nuts. And I'm trying to think of what other.
What's the one called? It's called Web Blossom. I call it my semen blossom.
Yeah, it's when he jumps in the air. He jumps in the air and
He
does
just
like a
spins around and goes
So
and
you've
shoots it out everywhere.
sprays
it
web
everywhere.
So this is ground you've already covered in your stream today.
Yeah.
Pretty
Life,
much.
I mean.
But
Spider-Man, what a microcosm for life.
I mean, it's just
Who would have known?
another thing, Felix. Did you unlock the perfect dodge?
Yeah, but I still don't understand how to dodge.
All right, so it's just like Arkham. Just hit the dodge button.
Yeah, I know.
And then you
you dodge.
And then you dodge.
I forget
also,
the dodge button exists.
It's direct.
Felix
it's,
is a perfect player,
It's direction
so-
sensitive.
I'm so good. It's the developer's fault.
Yeah.
If there's no dodge, if Felix doesn't dodge, there's no dodge.
There's
really
no
in the game.
dodge.
No. The logic goes like this: if I can't play it without the dodge, then it's broke.
It's broken.
Well, God.
It's a broken game.
Broken,
If
bro.
you
Yeah,
can't
and
play
so
without
once
the
you
dodge.
unlock perfect dodge, so your
think I
spider
did.
sense will turn white.
Oh yeah.
Then it will turn blue, and then when you hit it during that period, it will do a perfect dodge. And what that means is he does a cool like flip out of the way, and then goes boom and hits the guy with the web and
I just unlocked that,
incapacitates him
but
for
I haven't
like
tried it
like a
yet.
moment. Like you get a moment. Later, you'll unlock ability when it's someone shooting at you, and you pull a perfect dodge. You get an instant button takedown on that guy.
Yeah, that's
So,
what
like,
I just unlocked, but I haven't used it.
by the end of the game, you got guys with rockets and guns and batons. Like you're coming, it's coming at you from all sides, and you just
insane.
and like when you were playing, I'm like, wait till he
Wait
till he
till
gets to the end.
yeah.
Wait till he sees the other guys that have come along.
Yeah,
Ouch.
shit.
No spoiler, but. Combat ramps up, and like I told you, I was playing on the hardest difficult. I beat the whole thing on the hardest difficulty.
You're crazy.
It's
Thank
honestly
God there's
really,
not a trophy for the hardest difficulty.
I was
He's crazy.
kind of sad.
You're
There's
the
not.
difficulty man over
I
here.
didn't do it. I didn't. So
I did it this time with you in mind. I was
Thank
like,
you.
Felix is gonna fucking play this on hard.
He'd
I'm gonna
appreciate
play it
this.
on hard,
Yeah.
and
So
I'm
the-
gonna be like, nah, Felix, you're
The
you're out
question
of
I
your,
wanted
you're out of
to
your
ask
mind.
you
Right.
earlier, the question I wanted to ask you because I'm not too up on Spider-Man lore. So when you start the game, there's 3 difficulty levels. What
They
is
might
it?
as well just take that shit out.
What? But what's the earliest one?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
That was like 40 hours ago in game
But
time.
but
for
there's a easy difficulty which has a name. Then there's amazing, and then there's spectacular. And when I saw that,
me. Is there 4?
no, there's 3. But when I saw spectacular as being the hardest, I said to myself, when was the spectacular Spider-Man, like comic?
It's just it was like a side. It was like another universe comic book.
It was, but they did
See-
do spectacular
All right,
Spider-Man
so
at some point.
before the 90s in the comics, they kind of had these different runs of Spider-Man that ran perpendicular to each other, but at
Yeah.
the same time they were tangential. So like you remember like you
So
used to
that
get
is based
editor's
on
notes.
canon, though, right?
Yeah,
Something?
I guess so. Like comics were so fucking annoying back then, which is why it's like really hard to read old comics sometimes because they're like editor's note, go back to Web of Spider-Man 70 to see what happened in Amazing Spider-Man 23. Like I'm like,
Oh,
get the
yeah.
fuck out of here.
Things
with
I'll
that
never be
shit.
doing.
Get the fuck out of here with that
But
shit.
I did like how it was building its world. I think it builds its world, and it does not spoon feed you this giant map of like collectibles. As the collectibles came to me, I was able to go around the map, find them, move on to the next story
yeah,
mission.
they open up as the story opens up.
Yeah, they open up as the
a
story
nice way
opens
to do
up,
it,
so you're not
for sure.
overwhelmed
Perfectly
by it.
paced in that way. I gotta say, this
Which
is amazingly
also
paced.
makes
Yeah.
because they're all tied to trophies, it makes the trophy hunt easier.
Yep.
Like it's an easy platinum. It's going to be an easy platinum
It is.
because you just unlock it as you go, which is
Nice.
great. So
There are a lot of secret characters that you probably haven't seen yet, which I'm excited
No.
for you to see. I'm sure we'll talk about this more later.
I'm only in Act 2, so
Right.
got a ways to go.
So yeah, overall, I think this is an amazing game. I have a written review coming that I did.
It'll be our first.
It'll be our first. I'm a freaking nub when it comes to this stuff. I'm just literally putting my thoughts on paper. And I hope someone reads it and gives me feedback.
Make all the content that you can.
That's what I'm trying to do.
So, like,
did you follow my guideline today?
I said fuck that guideline.
What?
I'm sorry. Because for a review, I don't want to under 500 words. Like, are you serious?
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how to write a journalistic paper.
Oh, with your
article.
Opening paragraph.
The opening paragraph gives
totally.
people a summary so that they can decide whether they want to read the whole thing or not.
Yes. In that case, I took your advice.
Good.
It's currently in our private channel. If you would like to take. Oh wait, you know what? Don't look at it. Oh, did you read it?
No.
Maybe don't read it.
I won't. Tell me when.
Locke said he was going to read it, so I'm trusting Locke.
Cool.
So yeah, please look forward to that. It might be out at some point this week on theemergentgamer.com.
It'll just be it'll be on our website.
Please share it or at me at Neo_Yoshi for any feedback. I would love it. And if this works out, I will do more in the future. And if that works out, I will do more like kind of thought pieces, if that's okay with everybody here.
You should.
Just like
100%.
what's the industry doing and why is it interesting?
Totally do it.
Cool. All right, so that's Spider-Man, you guys. I'm sure you're going to be playing it more, Felix, so we'll talk more about it a little bit more next week. Because I want to get your feel for the story. We'll do like a full-on spoiler next week. How does that sound?
This is not going into my rotation, and it's not going to be a game that like over the course of like 8 months I try and finish. This is a game that I'm going to finish this week.
Yeah, and it seems like that's a good way to do it.
Every stream's going to be devoted to it.
Nice.
I will watch you and enjoy, and I will try and be silenter.
Don't. Backseat gaming is encouraged.
Because you know what? If it was the other way around, I would be like,
he's given you permission. He said that he likes that.
When I go live, I'll jump in Discord and jump in the backseat channel, and you can just speak to me if you're not at work.
I just want to give you the most Spider-Man experience you'll ever feel.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I want you to feel like Spider-Man.
I do.
That's my goal.
That's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Well, thank you guys for that, because I obviously have not played it, and I have very little familiarity with the world around it, so I appreciated that.
Was that a good?
It's a great
good
conversation.
For you?
Yeah, great toe dip. I definitely want to play it, based on that for sure.
When I platinum it, maybe I'll let you borrow it. Is that cool?
I bought it digitally. Sorry, you fucked.
Cool.
Felix,
great.
Felix got your back.
Good, great.
But anyway, you've been spending a lot of time on another game.
Yeah, we're about to go from something that I have zero knowledge of to something that I have an unhealthy amount of knowledge of. As of Tuesday last week, we had the release of Destiny's Year 2 expansion for Destiny 2, called Forsaken.
Hot damn.
God, I don't even know where to begin.
Where do you begin with this shit?
I think
so overall. Let's get your overall thoughts on it.
I think I can cap this in a meaningful way, even for people that don't know Destiny, for example. Destiny is an online MMO style.
Oh my god! People who listen to this podcast,
first-person shooter. These are cliff notes, right? It's a shared world shooter, first-person, future Earth kind of thing. It's a lot of fun because you do things with your friends after the story is done. You try to get more powerful. You try to complete complex endgame activities like raids for rewards. There's competitive stuff. It's great, and this is how Destiny's always been.
The multiplayer experience is the biggest reward of the game.
Biggest reward.
It is honestly why I'm still playing it.
Destiny 2 had a lot of problems when it first came out in terms of
Weapon
catering.
management.
What did you say?
Weapon management.
Sure. Yeah. They changed their weapon system from Destiny 1 in a big way. They catered a lot more to the casual player, which was good in some aspects.
Actually helped me out a little bit.
But
I geared up real fast.
Not as good necessarily. Yeah. But even that was kind of overkill because people ripped through essentially all the content and all the grind.
And then the complaining came.
Right away. Then you complain about the game and...
it's the cycle.
It's the cycle, man, and it's been happening for a very, very, very long time. Historically, Destiny 1 came out in 2014. 2015 hit, and they put out an expansion called The Taken King, which shuffled around a lot of the game's
going into like
systems, right? And everyone just had no idea this was coming, and it was such an incredible experience, and it set Destiny on the path that it was on today. Well, the vibe has been that Forsaken is going to do this for Destiny 2. It's going to be its Taken King expansion, and the pressure was really high for it to do that because of how much the Taken King helped Destiny become Destiny.
So what did Bungie do? They called in the YouTubers.
Bungie they delivered so incredibly well in this expansion that Destiny 2 is, in my opinion, in the best place that it's ever been. And not just Destiny 2, Destiny. Like, the game of Destiny is never better than it is as of now, as of Tuesday.
Wow.
It's the absolute best it's ever been.
So you're saying don't go play Taken King, Neo. Just play this more.
I mean, look, we'll talk about going back and playing the old content for sure because I still want to for some things. But in terms of the game, in terms of the economy, the activities you can do, the rewards, the loops, it's only been a week, but I am overwhelmed with how much there is, overwhelmed by the amount of secrets, overwhelmed by the embracing of the storytelling aspect of the game, overwhelmed with what's going to be coming next with the raid and the areas that they've delivered on to exist in and the stuff they've hidden. The interface updates to let you know what's valuable to do to get your character power
Dude, the menu
higher.
changes. You know I did last night?
What'd you do?
Yeah, was that last night? Yeah. I deleted or I sharded pretty much all of my purples in my bank. And I'm like, I don't need this. I need the materials.
Right.
And then the collections menu is right there in the menu now. You got your triumphs right there.
Everything is right there.
Everything's right there, and it honestly makes it like way better to like navigate around.
So we're gonna drill in pretty in depth, but TLDR on this situation. If you are a Destiny fan, if you are not a Destiny fan but want to be, if you are waiting to hop in, if you were burned, I hate using the term, but I do understand it for sure. Players that felt burned and kind of left by Bungie in terms of like their hobby when Destiny 2 first came out, please, I implore you, give it another chance because this is the best Destiny has ever been.
It's a big ask.
Since 2014. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I don't really give a shit if you play. It's
no,
just
you're loving it, and that's all that matters.
The fact of the matter is this: if you enjoyed Destiny at any point in your life, you will enjoy it now, probably more than you have ever.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very much enjoying it.
And you were a big, I don't want to use the term
I was a
hater.
naysayer.
You were a big critic of the game.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Osiris was not great for me.
Osiris was terrible.
In fact, there are some issues I would have with Forsaken, if I may.
Sure, yeah.
The story is cool, and I really liked everything that they did. Then with the setup, and this isn't a spoiler. This was all in all the promo material.
Right.
They killed a major character, and
did.
it's a big revenge story about what's happening. And then it actually gets more interesting, which I like, with the Barons. Those guys are cool.
Yeah, it gets interesting, especially with how it ends. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but things take a turn.
They take a big cool turn.
Yeah.
But my only complaint with it was it was over before I knew it. It felt like I was just like, oh, that's. But like
that's what you do in this game, though.
Yeah.
Like I have no desire to sit there and play a story. If anything, it's they hit the perfect balance of having good content to enjoy and to flesh out the world and to experience like being the central character to a player versus environment plot, but also not last too long that you're sitting there like, fuck, when am I going to get into the really good stuff? When am I going to get more powerful? When am I going to like find the cool secret shit? When am I going to get everything unlocked to be able to hop into different activities? I'm playing through requirement
That's
after
the core of the
requirement
game,
after requirement. So getting up to that point, that can be frustrating. Like having to play through more and more story.
I think what I need to understand is the way Destiny does deliver its quote story is that it's in the raid and it's in all the other activities that it comes from the long lasting support that Bungie has for the game. If that I guess that makes sense, right?
It does.
Like for example, the Whisper quest that they threw at us, like I don't know, like a few weeks ago, a bunch of weeks ago. That was like, whoa, that's a cool thing that they did. That was awesome.
A big tip of the hat to the kind of stuff that's going to be in Forsaken.
And it sounds like they're going to lean really heavily into like cool events like that and like little things that. And I'm sure like the annual pass is going to deliver the rest of whatever this Forsaken story continuation is, right?
Well,
at least I hope so.
As of now, no, we're still in the thralls of it, and I'm not going to give any specifics for people that again we're new off of these games with both Spider-Man and with Destiny, so I won't give too many specifics. But there are two new main areas in the game: the Tangled Shores, where the primary story takes place, and the very end of it happens in this place called the Dreaming City.
What planets are these on?
The Reef is the Tangled Shore, so you actually go back to the Reef and explore more around the area.
So
whereas
you get to see
before,
the Reef. And it's not just a location like a home base.
Oh no, it's a just like they described it. It's like everything kind of tied together, floating in space in different areas. And
oh wow,
a really cool area.
Detritus.
There's a crashed
purple.
Hive tomb ship that is almost like the Dreadnought. So imagine going on the Dreadnought from the Taken King, like their main area. That was a major Hive tomb ship, right? Yeah. There's another crashed tomb ship that you can run around in.
Wow.
That's pretty massive, but it has crashed on the reef after the Taken War.
Is the reef like?
It's the asteroid belt.
It's right, but does it have like some kind of like weird gravitational pull that's pulling shit into it?
No, I think it just
floating pieces of gravitational mass.
The way things have evolved in the solar system.
Detritus just ended up
and also
there.
people have brought things together. The Awoken and making it their home, so they've kind of built the stuff over the centuries.
Oh, because there's the Awoken are there with their houses.
If I may say one thing about the Tangled Shore, I believe is what it's called. Those lost sectors are so cool.
They're very cool.
They're awesome. And it takes you some of them take you into completely random ass areas, and then it opens up into this cool area. And I'm like, holy shit! What's this thing back? This thing back here is crazy.
Yeah, I think what they've done really well with lost sectors in this game and with other areas that are off the beaten path is they've fleshed out the story in ways that you've never had immediate access to in the game. So these lost sectors tell their own story if you pay attention enough instead of just running through and shooting everything. You can do that, and that's fine. You'll get your rewards. But there was one. There's one that has a hanging Corsair ship. The Corsairs are the guards of the Awoken, and you can see one hanging in there. And they've built this base around it, the Fallen, and you can kind of infer this story based on the title of the reef.
They've taken up refuge there, and this is their camp, and
it's little cool stuff like that. And so that's already an improvement by itself. But you find something hidden there, maybe a little crystal that's scannable, or you find some piece of gear that your ghost wants to interact with. You scan it. Now you unlock this piece of lore. It says lore unlocked, and it gives you a title. You go into your lore tab now inside of your collectibles, and you can literally read. And we know in Destiny 1, this stuff existed, but it was inside of an app. You had to go to an app on your phone or on the internet.
The Grimoire.
And read what you had
Is it
unlocked.
Called the Grimoire?
It's not. But now it's your triumph score. There's a counting triumph score that's like the Grimoire score that counts up every time you unlock or complete specific tasks.
It's funny
to find out more about the world.
This is something that World of Warcraft implemented later in the game because they're full to the brim of lore, that game. And they needed a way to manage it and to track your achievements that you've accumulated throughout the time time in the game.
So that's
exactly what
many cues have been taken from bigger successful MMOs. And honestly, I'm glad that they did, because what Bungie has always done is toe the line between being a shooter, just an action shooter, and being an actual
RPG,
massively multiplayer online RPG, which at this point it fully is. And if you don't see that, you're silly. And you're blind.
It's still kind of halfway through it. It skirts the line every day.
It's an MMO light,
very much,
and only in the sense that you can't. I don't know. It's not a Final Fantasy 14 or a World of Warcraft. It's the only difference.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're still out, but the server space caps out at a certain point.
It's a smaller, maybe
scale wise,
maybe not MMO, maybe
mini multiplayer.
When you take
KMO, kind of massively.
That's what I'm saying. When you take the literal acronym of MMO, it's not that.
It's not. But in terms of the style of game, it is very much that. Just with a first person gun instead of
Why can't we just say it's an RPG?
It is an RPG.
Well, because that then becomes too wide.
Right, too wide. So it's a shooter RPG.
Damn it! Define yourself, Bungie. What are you afraid of?
It's a light person MMO shooter RPG.
What is the term for a game that incorporates elements that are first and third? What is that? Is there a term for that?
Ghost Recon does?
Is it called mixed
action?
Well, because that's
game.
Destiny as well. Because you have
Metal
power
Gear
weapons
Solid 5 does it too.
that are third person. Some of your super abilities are third person.
Right.
Yeah.
It does a really good balance between third and first person gameplay.
Yeah, but this lore stuff, if you go back to the lore tab, it's not just little blurbs or hey, this came from this place, or this was Earth after a couple millennia passed.
Yeah.
They've leaned into full on literature. And you got multiple parts and chapters, and it is full on prose.
Yeah, but you're excited about that because it's giving you the filling in the gaps of the history that you never had from D1.
But the quality of this stuff is it's still mind blowing to me. The people write with such
you just said to me
this should
before
look good.
This show that with the lore that they have extant with the world, that they're going to build an art, a tabletop art role playing game. Or
right. That's not Bungie. That's some people have done this together. Fans have done this.
Oh, fans are
they're
doing
working
it.
on their own version of a D&D style Destiny thing.
I mean, it would be awesome, but it's not sanctioned by
Wizard
of the Coasts or something like that. All right.
But yeah, also there's the lore. There's triumphs too. So you get a score based on what you've actually accomplished in the game. And they have some real easy triumphs, like hit level 30, hit level 40, hit level 50, right? Then there's some incredibly specific ones, like run the new raid with a team of all 6 characters that are the same class and the same subclass.
Jesus.
Like,
see, because
Stuff
and
like
now
that.
what that is, it means it's like, okay, guys, you guys want to try this triumph today?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Do you get like an engram or something for doing it?
well, you get the triumph points unlocked, and
Gives you a cool
and
goal
a higher
once you get
triumph
bored of
score
it.
total is indicative of someone who's spent more time doing more in the game
Right.
and accomplishing more.
So that like basically means all of you and your friends have to have coincidentally chosen to pick the same character as their main.
I don't think that's what it's for. I think it's for like, hey, this is a couple months down the road. There's nothing happening, but we love playing this game. What can we do? Here's
let's
a
look at the
challenge
triumphs
we
tab,
haven't
yeah.
done.
Oh, so at that point, everyone who probably already got a character to like the highest level
Yeah,
or whatever.
you're not doing this on your first run through.
Right.
Of a,
No.
of a raid.
At
Definitely not.
that point, though, somebody would go, okay, we'll all create a new character. It'll all be the same class, and then we'll all
No,
just
you can
go
just switch.
to
You
it.
just switch to whatever. Just switch your character.
Dude, at this point, all of us,
Yeah, if you have more
We-
than one character.
we all have more than one character.
But, right. So,
all of us
yeah.
do.
what I'm
Just
trying...
a slow, sad nod of the head.
I-
Yeah, no, but what I'm trying to draw attention to or expose about
Yeah.
the game is the assumption is that you're going to have with these triumphs is
Yes,
that
the
you're
assumption
gonna,
is you're going to have
that you're going to have multiple characters. So if somebody's coming into this brand new and they don't know that that's like an assumed meta.
They shouldn't be looking at that part of the triumphs.
Yeah,
yet.
if you're just coming in,
You should just be enjoying the game and playing the story
Yeah.
and doing all the milestones.
you're creating a scenario that would never happen. Because by the time you're looking for that kind of extra stuff to do, you probably have already at least
You've
started a
exhausted the
second
game.
character.
Yeah, your
at the bare
light level
minimum.
is as high as you're pushing
Nothing
it up
changed
there,
about that. You can still only have 3 characters, correct?
Only 3.
Cool.
They have made the power grind a lot longer as well.
Seems
all,
that way.
All along with the theme of having more to do and having more to discover and more to work towards.
You're like what 315? You said
No, my highest on my Titan is 325.
your Titan got real lucky.
Sorry, 525.
Shit,
Titan's
are
been
you-
getting
are
real
you-
lucky
you
with
taking your Titan into the raid.
I'm going to end up taking whatever the highest one is. I want it to be Hunter because Hunter's my main.
Sure.
But Titan's been getting the prime engram, so it might end up being
I keep forgetting. I'm like, damn, how are you that like strong right now? But I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I played Spider-Man for like 25
Right,
hours,
right, right.
30 hours. So because like dividing my time between that, because like I really want to be at the
Yeah, dude,
Forsaken.
I want everyone to hop in and do it blind. The raid launches Friday. Friday at 1 p.m.
Oh, the raid is this Friday.
The raid is this coming Friday.
W-
Yeah.
Will you wait for me?
I think we're going to try and do it Saturday.
We're gonna try and do it Saturday.
I
Okay.
think that's the plan, yeah.
All right. I know Locke's listening to this, so he's gonna.
We're going to talk to some people,
Yeah.
try to get a team of 6 that are committed to being blind through it.
Oh, you're doing a blind one.
I'd love to do
as
it
long
blind.
as
yeah.
we-
Blind
especially
raids.
with the Dreaming City, like one of the most incredible areas that Destiny has ever designed. It's full of secrets and it's
I
gorgeous.
gotta tell you,
Felix, you would
It's-
lose your shit.
it is
I already
pretty
know
breathtaking. It is pretty breathtaking.
It's breathtaking.
I-
That's the exact
Earlier,
word.
when you were talking about people who had axes to grind on Destiny 2, I'm not one of them.
Oh, sure.
I'm not
sure.
somebody that left Destiny 2
But I mean,
because
from,
I hated it.
from content that you like, or from visuals that you like, you would love just the design of the Dreaming City.
No, I've
in
always
general.
loved like how, like I said, I've compared Destiny to in its design to the guy who did Predator. You know, not Predator, Alien.
Oh, Geiger.
Like most of the stuff that they do is on the scale of like walking into like the ship in Prometheus. Like that's how big and epic it is, and they're
Just that scale.
their
of
level
like, holy
design.
shit.
Yeah. Like when I went through the Vault of Glass for the first time and saw how big it was and how you had to climb and figure out the puzzles, like I was blown away by it. So
Right.
I don't doubt that every year that Destiny moves forward, it's just going to get bigger and more epic and so
Yeah.
awesome. You know?
Yeah. Hopefully they've doubled down on that.
Yeah.
But it's
Called the
look,
Dreaming City.
the
Where is
Dreaming
that?
City.
Is that in the reef?
It's
in the
connected
reef?
to the reef, and traditionally only the Awoken have access to there. But
Ah.
there are some things that happen that cause a need for there to be other your presence in there and some other presences. Again, I don't want to spoil things because the end is very cool from a lore perspective, at least.
Now, for people who chose the race of the Awoken as
Which I did.
as their character,
Yeah.
do they gain a boon or a benefit?
Not a boon,
or
but I
anything?
mean there are separate dialogue options. Sometimes
There are,
Petra,
yeah.
You remember Petra? She was your quest giver in
Yeah.
in House of Wolves. She's again a big part of the story, obviously being on the reef. But if you're awoken, she'll call you like cousin instead of guardian or something like that.
She actually
Nice
pointed
touch.
out to me that because I'm an awoken character, my hunter is, and she pointed out, it's like, as an awoken, you should understand more than anybody else why this is important.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
you're talking to me. Oh,
You're
okay.
talking to me?
Right, right.
No, normal, like,
You mean you haven't
Like-
read the entire grimoire?
Get out of here. Go on the
Neo.
Bungie.
Wait,
dot-
wait, is that
Petra said, go on Bungie.net
is that
and read all of the
something one
lore.
the characters said to you?
No.
No,
just
no.
just
He's fucking
when
around.
he was like, me? Yes, you're awoken.
It's so funny.
Um,
I like nice touches like that, man.
It is. It's. I mean, Destiny's always had like the finish, like the sheen is always there.
Oh, it's
always
very polished.
A very polished game.
Dude,
From-
shooting still feels great.
and
still really good.
Let me tell you something.
These new guns, though.
They added a bow and arrow to this game,
I know.
and
Woo-hoo.
I will never ever, outside of a light level requirement, most likely, never not have a bow on my loadout.
Nope.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
incredible. I've been able to hit the most precise across map hip snipes, let alone like aim down sights.
Preach.
Do you like it in multiplayer in Crucible?
I haven't had a chance to try it out because some of the rewards have gotten bugged. We can hit that in a second, but I haven't had a chance to really spend a lot of time in there because I don't want to burn rewards.
Yeah, we do have to talk about PvP too, but
I don't know what burn rewards even means.
Again, we'll go down that
the
path.
the bow is so satisfying. I only have the one bow that they give you in the story.
Yeah.
But like, there's like a click that happens as you're pulling it back, and
Yep.
then as you look down sights, it makes a sound that feels really good, and then the release is even better.
Yep.
And if you get the explosive arrow tip on that, John, ooh,
Yeah, the story one they give you is always the explosive tip, which is nice. You can get a
and you can
a kind of
swap it
feel
out
for that. Yeah,
for like a quicker draw. I think is what it is.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
pick those perks.
Dude, the way they changed all the mods, all the mods
the
are
mod
great.
system is gone, and it's more worthwhile. It's
Oh my
more
God.
higher weight. Like it's a big deal if you mod something. I like it.
The
I like
one
it a
thing,
lot.
the one thing I like about it is I find myself looking through multiple pieces of the same gear because now gear has different special perks on them that you can switch on and off. And the best part is now like I got one piece of gear that's like, oh, this will make your kinetic weapons more accurate, but if you switch it to this, you'll get more ammo in your auto rifle reserves
Yep.
or bow reserves. So like all your gear now is like, okay, so I'm gonna min max this so I can have more ammo,
You can have-
get my submachine gun accuracy up. Then I'm gonna put my guns in a way that will synergize with my armor.
You can have real specific loadouts again, Felix.
Yes.
It's really cool.
So you can go deep into what you want your characters like. You can min max again. You
Yep.
can minimize and maximize what you're putting into your character.
Exactly.
Which
Feeling that RPG burn in your soul.
and honestly,
It is, and you
for me,
even
personally, this is what Destiny 2 vanilla was missing. I was like, this gear is stupid. Like, why am I
right.
keeping this? I'm just
So now guns and gear both drop with randomized perks and rolls. So you have that chase if you want to find.
Yeah,
the
you
most
want to re-roll
perfect-
it.
Perfect combination.
What is the mechanism for doing a re-roll now?
There's no re-roll. You, just have to get the gun.
get
again.
another gun.
Oh, you gotta find it.
Yeah,
So-
there's no perk re-roll.
I found
Can you
no
buy
exotics.
it
Your
or-
mod system is how you put other effects on your gun or on your armor.
Okay.
Now
But can you buy them?
buy
Or-
mods.
No, buy the gun if you wanted to get the gun again, or is it just based on random drops in the world?
It's based on random drops.
Okay.
You cannot reacquire Forsaken guns from your menus. You can reacquire guns from vanilla just by going in there and picking one from your menu, which is nice.
Which I honestly, when I went and did was I
Vanilla guns don't have
re-rolled a lot of
perks
my old
then.
guns. I dismantled like my Whisper and re-rolled it.
Yeah.
Just so I could have a higher level one just to carry around. I only
Sure.
did that with the Crimson because I've been using that in Gambit for
Okay.
specific reasons.
Right.
And I've been using the Whisper again because it's
When you-
obviously, and I re-rolled the Merciless Fusion Rifle.
When you pull a gun,
Because I'm trying out a thing where I have the fusion rifle in my second slot, using an auto weapon and using either a grenade launcher.
That's a very Destiny 1 loadout right there.
like I'm like, this feels weird, but
Grenade
at the same time
launcher's
it
got a
feels
nice
right.
buff as well. That's
Yeah.
good.
when you pull a gun from the collection,
Yeah.
it re-rolls a different set of perks on it.
Not the vanilla guns.
Not the Destiny 2 guns. But you can't even get a year 2 gun out of your collectibles.
I have not tried to do that yet, so I can't confirm or deny. it.
They don't have a method to pull that out. I think they said they've there may be right now, but because of the way the perk system works, you can't.
So what you're saying is
reacquire.
Don't delete your 2 guns right now.
No, I'm keeping like every gun that has even a slight interesting perk combination. I'm gonna keep and then infuse
through them.
together if I like something that's better or whatever else there.
Infusing is expensive, man. It's mad expensive.
Unless if you put the same gun into that same gun, then it only costs glimmer. Yeah, surprise.
Oh,
There's always something new.
AOG's
All right,
mind
so
is blown.
one thing I want to say is that I'm very glad I saved every because there was one day we were playing Destiny 2 vanilla, and you were like, "Oh, I'm just saving all my materials because I don't know what Forsaken's gonna do."
Yeah.
And
I was-
lunatic saved everything.
Yeah, but like here's
Everything.
the thing:
Vault space is now
saved-
500 spots.
Yeah, it's larger, and I deleted like all my guns in my vault, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever now. But and after you said that to me, I was like, "Huh, I should probably do that." So I did,
Yep.
and I had like all the weird random shit you pick up off
All
planets,
the world materials, yeah.
and I'm like, cool. I can instantly upgrade some guns that I really like, and I saved them for like the ones I really cared about, just so I
Can I-
get up to 500.
Can I tell
real
you a
quick.
funny story?
Uh-oh.
Literally day one, I did a 24-hour stream
Don't
for
say
launch.
you deleted all of your mats.
I had all my mats, and then we went planet hopping to get a specific armor piece
Okay.
for I think Locke and Key needed it, and we were running around. And as we were going from planet to planet, I'm like, you know what? I want to give all my tokens to these guys to get all of their
Stop.
to get full sets from all the gear that I'd never got from D1, just for my own collections. So I would just follow in after Locke, and I would put all my tokens in there. But the game shows you redeemable items with all the same icon. So without even realizing or forgetting at that point how much I would need those materials to just have for infusion, I gave all tokens and all mats to every destination that we went to. And then a couple hours later, when I wanted to infuse something and it said, "Oh, you have 0 out of 25 needed," I went, "Oh fuck."
Oh fuck.
I gave everything to all the characters, to all the destination vendors. So
Oh, dude. And I took
Rip.
your advice too.
I know,
Because I was like, I'm gonna wait and see what these do. And I still have like 2,000 gunsmith
big
materials
fucking oof, dude.
just chilling in my bank. Just 2,000.
Big
sitting
oof. But like, it's fine. There are now patrols and bounties on each planet that give you like a shit ton of the material.
there. The way they changed milestones was crucial too. I want to say because they put the focus on bounties of the immediacy of what you're doing is all in bounties, right?
Yeah.
You want to collect those, you want to do those and rotate them, and then the milestones kind of exist like on your world map like normal,
Yep.
but like they put them on the icons. So like you got your Crucible and you got your Gambit and you got your whatever that they have the weekly what do they call
The flashpoint.
the flashpoint.
Yep.
Yeah, it's now like a rotating daily and weekly, right? So that's great.
It's great.
Less clutter on that. But you know what? I kind of do miss having the checklist of the milestone.
Well, I think I miss it too, but I think
You
it's
mean the
because we
books?
were just used to it.
No. Like you would in Destiny 2, you know how you would see all of your what to do throughout the week.
You
Your milestones.
held your trigger button on your map and it
Yeah.
slid over the panel.
Yeah.
That panel there now only shows you like specific storyline quests that you're working on.
Yeah.
Oh.
All of your other stuff, like to check your weekly or to check your raid accomplishments, to check your flashpoint, those are actually on the planets. So you'll see a little line next to a destination
Gold little
with a
emblem.
symbol
Oh, I see.
that indicates what events are active that day on that planet.
So I do miss the checklist that they provide you in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that they're like, oh, you can track bounties here, and then when you hit tab to pull up your
Yep.
ghost, it shows you it. But I'm like, dude, I want to see like 5 of these things. I want to be. I don't
Yeah.
want to jump into my menu.
That actually was something that Destiny 1 still did a little bit better. You were able to track up to 3, I think.
Oh my god, please just let me do that.
yeah.
Like
There's screen space for it, especially when you bring your ghost out. You could easily have 3.
just 3. Just give me
If
like
not
bam,
more.
bam, bam. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You can only do one at a time
Or
right
if
now.
I do track them, put them in my milestone slidey bar. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the things I immediately want to take care of. And
Yep.
I want to choose and mark them as I see fit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to plan my game session a little bit better in that
Yeah,
sense.
totally.
Maybe I'll tweet them and be like, "Hey guys, you ever think about this?"
Here's an idea. Yeah. Look,
you and the other million.
Look,
if-
I know.
if there is something that Bungie has
But
done,
like I won't be a dick about it. I'll be like, "Guys, look, I love you."
well, that's the
I
thing,
love your
dude.
game.
And I will make this argument.
This Bungie's different.
Destiny 2 is only the way and in the place that it is because of their missteps and because of their receptiveness to feedback.
Yeah.
So that I have no ill will to them. And honestly, like we may have gotten a much far more mediocre game if everything was just okay enough to not complain and to play it.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they
No, they're very, very
so
communicative.
head-on tackled everything people felt from vanilla Destiny 2, tackled, addressed, and reworked into a game that people are loving. Like the amount of the outpouring of love for this game, even in a week, is mind-boggling.
This guy right now in his head is debating whether he should play this or Spider-Man tonight.
Well, no, I'm probably gonna do Destiny tonight. I'm probably if
There
I
it
were to
is.
play any
You
game
can knock
tonight.
out some stuff
There
before
is no
reset.
debate.
Yeah.
Can I give you
The
a
debate is
tip
over.
Please.
in terms of power?
Oh my god, I need you to be because when I logged in on Sunday, you guys weren't around and I was playing hard.
So to be
and
safe,
I'm like, I need them to tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
and if you're listening out there later, this only applies until 1 p.m. tomorrow, so you can probably disregard this. Don't do any weekly milestone. Don't do your
did.
Crucible, your Gambit.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Don't do them again because they popped up again on your character on Saturday. There was a bugged reset. And if you do them, you're going to get 500 power rewards, and then you're going to get nothing on Tuesday. They won't reset.
So what
for
I've
you.
been focusing on, which I could probably use your help on, is the spider bounties.
They only give you Glimmer.
They only give you Glimmer. Okay, fuck them then. I want to do things that give me gear.
Every day.
Bounties.
Every day.
Certain bounties.
Well, Dreaming City bounties. You got to get all them done. And
place is
every
hard.
day, your character has a buff called Prime Attunement. You have that buff until you get a Prime Engram. You turn the Prime Engram in, and you're done for the day, essentially. Now, getting the Prime Engram might keep the buff on you. It resets. It may reset. It may go away.
What determines this?
It's random. I think
great.
people say 1 to 3 times you can have the buff per day.
I definitely, when I was on earlier, still had it.
But that's a daily thing. So if you're someone who's trying to play from a very efficient point of view, you want to work through all of your characters and play on them at the very least until your character is done with that Prime Attunement buff. Because then you know
So you get one piece of guaranteed high-level gear.
a day from yellow bar enemies, yeah. It's a pretty good bump. It's like, I think, +5 over your current like total cap.
That's good, I guess. As long as it replaces a piece of gear, I guess that makes it worth it. But
Yeah.
like once a day, and then you're like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Well, sure.
okay, so then secondary, that's first. What's the next?
That's
what's the
how
next
you
thing?
filter everything.
Yeah, what's the next
Then
thing?
make sure your Dreaming City bounties are all done.
Gotcha. No spider bounties on the coast.
It's really not
Whatever
worth it
it's
unless you
called.
need Glimmer for some specific reason.
Glimmer is good for getting mats.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I don't need mats though,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
So from a daily point of view, work through all your characters with your Prime Attunements, and then do Dreaming City.
Just hang out in Dreaming City.
Because those reset daily as well.
Dreaming City is hard, man.
Dreaming City's real tough.
Because I noticed over the weekend when I first hit that area, I was like alone most of the time. Just saying, like you were like you're like for you were like it's hit or miss,
Yeah.
whatever. But like I'm here doing, I can't do these what are they called? The live events.
The Blindwell? The public events?
That was the first time. Earlier today when we did that, that was the first time I saw that. The public events.
Public events are all
very
really
hard.
hard because the light level is so high on that
I
place.
feel very underpowered in that area.
Yeah.
I don't want to be alone. Please hold my hand. Thank you.
We're there for you, man. We're
All right,
there
cool.
for sure.
So yeah, I was like running around alone trying to do bounties. I'm like, I can't do this. Everything's killing me. Like Mercer's.
Yeah. You can accomplish a lot even if you're underleveled if you run with a squad. Luckily,
What's the minimum recommended light for the Dreaming City?
Dreaming City activities are all like 530, 540,
That makes
560, somewhere in there.
I'm like 503 to 5.
Your game, your level, fucking brick wall stops at 500. That's the cap. And then to get higher, you've got to get powerful gear.
Right.
Total max current power is 600.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's a grind.
I've
now, above 500.
I've grinded more than the average like player is going to be able to, since I'm doing this full time right now. And I am at 525 on my highest character. I have not been the most efficient. I've skipped definitely some events. I missed some daily loops just because you don't, first of all, understand how to do it. You don't understand how to maximize your Prime Attunements. I lost a day from streaming 24 hours because I had to sleep for at some point. So there are people that are higher than me. I think I saw King Gathalion accidentally deleted a 539 piece of gear, which really hurts. That's probably one of his highest that he got. But people are
How do you do that on accident?
Lock your gear, buddy. Lock your good gear.
It happens to everyone at some point. I almost did it today. I was on stream and I almost
Just lock
did it today.
Be safe and lock
They
your
still have the
favorites.
lock tool, right?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
But Yeah, man, it's going to be a slog for people. But you can look at it in some different ways. Some people are going to be pissed because it's going to take them so long to do endgame stuff, and some people like just appreciate really, really getting
according to
sinking their teeth into all the activities and slowly earning their power.
Numerous times on the show, Locke said he didn't have prior to this, he didn't have a reason to be in Destiny.
I love it. I love the pace. I really do.
Gives you
I think
now
at this point,
purpose.
I'm gonna play it in like drip feeding fashion. I can't play it like I did Spider-Man. That's not gonna work.
Right.
Like I can't just like mainline it and just fucking enjoy it. But with this, I'm just gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna do what I need to do. Enjoy a little bit of pieces here and there. Try and get some good gear, and then I'll.
Spider-Man has felt like heroin, hasn't it?
Oh my god, it's fucking crack, man. Just get it in me. Yeah. But also, we're going long.
We're going real long. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
We should stop right now.
Can we talk about Gambit next week then?
We'll hit on more because there are
frustration.
I want to hit. We'll hit some of the competitive and cooperative activities next week, and we'll also talk about some of the glitches and things that have happened because I want to have the full story and the full resolution before we go down some of these roads.
Next week we should talk about news at some point.
And some things I don't want to discuss because I don't want to give people a hint as to how to like game break before they've fixed it. That's not a responsibility that I want because I don't think that some of these cheeses or some of these glitches should be done.
I appreciated your on the chat earlier today. You were like, I'm not a fan of cheesing things. I don't appreciate it because what are you gonna? You're gonna get all the good stuff and then you're gonna complain.
Well, I was like,
huh.
And that specific event as well. You don't learn the mechanic, and the cheese doesn't work.
Cheating.
Cheese doesn't work for the boss phase of that mechanic. So if you get through it and not without knowing how to play it, you're gonna get to the boss and not be able to do anything, and you've wasted all that time.
No, but that's because now the game has mechanics.
It's always
D1 we cheesed everything.
D1 was very light
because it was all bullet sponge.
Yeah,
and there were no mechanics to solve the problem.
There's definitely heavy mechanics.
Yeah, cheesing stuff now for everyone probably feels like cheap as shit because you could actually learn it and be smart about it.
Bypassing the intentions of the developers.
Yeah, and those mechanics are going to play a role in the city as it evolves because the city is going to change in the weeks to come.
That's going to be really interesting.
As well as I guarantee you, in the raid is going to have similar mechanics. They train you now, which is something that they've also come to from the beginning.
It feels like you're playing a game, and it's satisfactory to actually learn about something.
There was a mini boss fight. This is not a spoiler, I don't think, but there's a mini boss fight that all of a sudden I'm fighting the boss, and you're like doing a pike battle like across like an oil field where he's like setting you on fire. And
those
shit.
Baron hunts were really fun.
I was like, wow, this is
some of the most interesting and fun boss fights I've ever had in Destiny.
Anyway,
yeah, we cheesed at year one because. We had to.
So there were some things in year one. There were funny cheeses, but they didn't impact your knowledge of the mechanic. So the one was in the Vault of Glass. One of the big first.
I'm not
cheeses.
talking about like in a raid. I'm talking about all those like cheeses we had for like the strike bosses and shit because they were just hard and shitty and bullet sponge.
Survivable strategies. I'm talking about. There's a new specific cheese that finishes progression of something early. Without you playing the objective of the mode.
Right.
Which is not what we were doing. We were surviving a strike by being in very specific areas.
Okay, yeah.
And we still could have found
like a hole to climb into.
We still got shot. You know?
If we got out, yeah.
Even if you were in between boxes, there were ways to get shot.
Makes you think that maybe they were part of the plan from the beginning.
We're going real specific with it. I always rationalize that because I was like, well, if I'm a human, I'm going to be surviving any way that I can.
Well, it's just... They never patched them. They always existed, and you think maybe they were just put there.
They were just put there.
They were like, if somebody could figure out how to get in this hole, let's like leave it there for them.
Yeah.
So they can.
No, but there's a cheese like certain guns and explosives interact with an environment in ways they should not, and then
a full on exploit.
You're breaking through the environment.
Exploiting things. Yeah. But yeah, like that one in Vault of Glass where we pushed the Templar boss back because his shield interacted with the grenade.
Yeah,
like everyone knows how to take his shield down. That's not like something to really learn or figure out.
We would push him back until he fell off.
It was simple: hit him with a thing and then shoot him with guns. But we were just able to throw the grenade and have him just slide back until they put literal bumpers on the geometry to not have him do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the game evolves, so does the cheese game, I guess.
Hell yeah.
But I'm not gonna spoil it out there for anybody. So
No, we'll spoil it next week. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Are we going to spoil Spider-Man when we both finish it?
We'll put a spoiler alert on there for
Yeah.
anyone watching or listening, so they'll know.
Yeah, we should.
But if you do finish it, I think we should talk about it.
it's definitely it's going to get finished.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, hopefully, we'll bring back news next week a little bit.
A little bit. We should,
We'll sprinkle it in.
we'll give people out there
I do think talking about
some hint as to what's going on. I feel like some people rely on us for
their
their
news,
entire news
their
situation,
weekly
and
news,
we're
yeah.
letting them down in a big way
I
by
know.
talking about all of our favorite
well,
stuff.
the season's coming for lots of games, so that's going to be the
It's
news.
true.
So,
A lot of stuff coming out.
anyway, yeah, shall we wrap it up, you boys?
Let's
Ready.
do it. Let's do it.
It's Neo Yoshi. Find me at Twitter at Neo_Yoshi on Twitter. And, said that, yep. And Twitch at twitch.tv/Neo Yoshi. No underscore.
Said that. I am Trip Zero. Thank you guys for listening. You can find me on all of my socials. It's Trip Zero TV. All together, no spaces, very easy to find. You can find me on Mixer. I stream every day, 11 to 8. So find me on there, except Sundays. Pop in, say hello, give me a follow.
And this is Felix Hergood. Make sure to check us out either on iTunes or YouTube. We're also found, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube, but you can also find us in the OG Podcast Network. Just type OG Podcasts in a search on your particular device. We don't know about Android. We only have iPhones, so we know we can get OG Podcasts in the App Store in an iPhone, but reach out to us. Let us know if you find it in an Android phone.
Tell us how you find us.
Tell us how you find us, yeah. Or ogpodcastnetwork.com. That's the other website you can go to find us, and we're in the games and hobbies section when you get there. There's us and the Fireside. They're the comic chat. We're the game chat. So
Exactly.
check
Well,
us
cool.
out.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we will catch you later.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
It is legitimately foggy in here.
Yeah, we're sitting.
I'm sorry.
It
in a
is legitimately
I'm
foggy.
stop.
cloud
now.
of of ambrosia.
And then
like,
he
what
just-
is this beautiful smell?
That's pretty good. What is this?
What
What's
is
the-
it? Seriously,
no,
it
leave
smells
no,
good.
No. That's-
We're
yeah.
not fucking telling you to leave.
No, I'm just leaving the door. I'm just letting it breathe in here, you know? What's in that?
You don't
in
have
this
to.
too?
It
It's,
smells
it's,
good. It's just like
It's a mix of
Oh.
snickerdoodle and banana cream.
people.